Story 1. It depends on which ex. There is one in particular that would make me cry from happiness if she texts me. The others I would just ignore, I guess. Story 2. My high school girlfriend still does this 27 years later, about once a year. We are both married and have families. Yes, my wife knows, but she actually feels sorry for her. I usually reply with, "I hope you're doing well and take care," then wait for another year to pass. Story 3. I wouldn't reply. In fact, I'd probably block her right there. I have no time for someone who cheated on me. Story 4. For almost all of them, I would probably say, "I've thought of you a lot. How are you?" I suppose I am a rare case. My exes were very nice individuals. Things just didn't work out, not for reasons that leave a sour taste in your mouth like infidelity. Story 5. Example 1. I know, but you messed everything up. Example 2. Well, of course. Example 3. Oh hey, I saw your parents the other day. You need to call them more often. Story 6. I would ignore it regardless of which ex it was. I do not intend to revisit any of those relationships, despite how much they miss me. Story 7. That's sweet. But remember, I'm like a limited edition. Once you let me go, there's no bringing me back. Story 8. The same way I have previously. Absolute silence unless she has something to say that is relevant to the health and welfare of our child who is in my custody. I will not go into details, but suffice it to say that a very conservative state granted the father custody. Story 9. I would probably just say hi and tease them. Something like, "Missing me? Are you drunk at this time of day? Are you having vodka with your cornflakes?" I don't have a problem with any of my exes, but from the replies here, it seems that is rare. I'd be friendly without giving any false hope. Maybe I would check how they are because texting someone like me on a Sunday morning to say, "I miss you," sounds like a cry for help. Story 10. I would rather be tied to the back of a pickup, stripped naked, sprayed with a solution of lemon juice and salt, pulled through broken glass, set on fire, and left to rot before I ever let her touch me again. Story 11. I would probably ask what they mean by that or if the message was for me. All my significant ex-partners know I am in a relationship. A few of them know I have a child, and I am currently arranging for one to come over to meet him. If any of them are trying to pursue something, then we do not need to speak anymore. Story 12. I'd say, okay, and, there is no point in missing me when he couldn't appreciate what he had when he had it. Story 13. I'm still overweight, and you still have an inappropriate relationship with your mother. Please stop sending me messages like that. Story 14. I would tell him I miss his presence and who we once were, but we aren't meant for one another, as much as one of us or both can wish we were. I thank him for walking away so I could genuinely heal my depression, dedicate myself to my dialectical behavior therapy, and finally not feel like life is being sucked out of me every day just by waking up. I'd mention I miss when we would lay skin to skin and just hold each other because it was the closest we could be together, besides the intimacy, which was actually amazing. I'd ask if he lays with his new girlfriend like that. I'd ask why he's still friends with my mother on social media. I'd tell him I'm proud of him for moving on, and I'm so sorry about his mother's sudden passing. I'd beg to know how his siblings were, as they loved me, and I loved them, but would I risk my mental health to be with him again? No. Story 15. I would block. Why restart the cycle? Don't feed into the past once it's done. That chapter is over and I found my peace. Story 16. Keep jogging, you hairy troll, to the last one. Did you mean to send this to yourself, to the one before? Does he mistreat you as I did to the one before that one? Story 17. My ex was from 1999. I don't know what I would say, but I would certainly answer and listen. What if you were the last attempt? Story 18. If by ex you mean the person currently on my mind, even though not technically an ex, you have a boyfriend. If my actual last ex, that makes sense. If any previous ex. Noted. Story 19. It is difficult. On one hand, I feel hatred towards her. She cheated and left me broken. I am still not fixed, but each day is getting better. However, if the moment feels right and the loneliness is overwhelming, then I may become blinded by the past. More than likely, I would end up right back where I am again. Story 20. I don't have her number and we are married to other people, so there would be no way to actually know if it was her. I would probably show it to my wife and we would discuss whether it was worth replying or if it was actually her, then we would just end up deleting it. Story 21. I wouldn't respond because they are blocked on everything. If they somehow found a way to contact me, I still would not respond and would block that method of contact. Please leave me alone. Story 22. It is still fresh and I honestly do not know what I would say. It would be reaffirming and make me feel like she cares at least somewhat. I do not think I could ever trust her with my heart again after she abandoned me, but I miss the friend I knew for over 2 years before dating her. Story 23. If it were my last ex, I would say, it will pass. You'll find someone amazing, I promise. As for the ex before that, I would say, it sucks to be you. Story 24. I would probably just say, I don't miss who I had to be to stay with you, and then silence. Because healing taught me how to protect my peace without explaining it. Story 25. Tough luck for you. If I bothered to open it all the way and reply, I would probably pull the message down to read it without marking it as read, and then delete it. Story 26. I heard your dog passed away. He was a good boy. You weren't. Here is a picture of my wife snuggling with my new dog. Story 27. I would reply, after you hid my sons away and told a court I abandoned them, you can go ahead and leave. My sons are both adults now, and there is no reason to communicate with her anymore. Story 28. It depends on the situation. If it's my very first experience, I would chat with her for a little while to see how things are going. If it's my second experience, I might just text her, cry me a river, and then block her. For my third, I may talk to her for a bit. Story 29. Hello, Michelle. I hope you have been well, but I do not feel the same. It has been years since we last talked. There is a reason I have not reached out to you during this time. I have finally forgiven you for what you said and did. I apologize, but I am not looking to revisit old wounds because it has taken me a long time to move on. Perhaps one day I will be able to open up to you again, but today is not that day. I wish you the best otherwise. Story 30. I would verify which one it is. For the majority of them, I would say, that's nice. For the last one, I would have a brief conversation about our families since we are both married now and have several daughters. Story 31. I am just curious if your current partner knows you are trying to text me. I would be happy to let her know. Story 32. For a moment, the pit in my stomach would evaporate. Then I would quickly remember that her words don't mean anything. I wouldn't reply. Story 33. I hope you are able to heal someday. I have moved on and am happily committed to my family. Please do not contact me. Story 34. He's only my ex because he has passed away. I would assume I was the target of someone who wanted to make me suffer even more. Story 35. I am friends with all my exes. I love them all. I don't agree with the idea of forgetting them. It's strange. Story 36. I miss you. Look, nobody misses like I do, but I am doing amazing, truly. Big things are ahead. Believe me. Story 37. I bet you're having fun with your wannabe gangster boyfriend. Or did he get sent back? Story 38. My ex did that 7 months after I ended the relationship. He had a habit of ghosting, and I had a habit of being understanding. In his message, it sounded like he wasn't expecting me to actually cut him off that time. He messaged me again months later, and I never responded. I just deleted the account he used to contact me. Interestingly, I searched on social media to block all of his accounts so he could never message me again. I discovered he was already back together with his ex when he was trying to reconnect with me. Absolute disappointment. Story 39. It depends on the ex. In most cases, I would say, hi, how have you been? Since it has been a long time and I hold no grudges against them. However, if it is a specific ex, I would say, I understand you. I would miss me too. Story 40. I don't have an ex, but I'm feeling sad, emotional, and touch deprived. I just cut off 5 inches of my hair with some kitchen scissors, so I'd probably make all the wrong choices with anyone who texted me right now. Story 41. I just saw my ex earlier today for the first time in over 6 months, so this one hits me hard. Her daughter's prom was tonight, and she looks to me as her father figure. She jokingly and lovingly calls me fake dad and often leaves off the fake part. I have been in her and her siblings' lives since she was 6 years old, so I drove 2 hours to see them and take them out to lunch beforehand. The problem is, my ex married a narcissistic individual only a few months after we broke up. After coming to me and others for help understanding her difficult situation, she got pregnant and is now 7 months along. He dislikes me intensely, so I'm not really welcome there, even though he wouldn't say so to my face. She broke my heart. In fairness, after I blew my chance with her, that part is on me. I forgave her for that, but what I can't get past is how she got me to fall for her again last year, coming to me for help and guidance repeatedly before deciding to stay with her husband. I don't really see any way out of it except to try to establish clear boundaries. I'm not going to just abandon the kids that I've helped raise. I will always be available to them. So what would I say to her? I'll always care about you, but I don't trust you anymore. You made your choice. I will always be grateful that you let me visit the kids. But we are done. God bless you. Story 42. This just happened to me about an hour ago. I did not reply. He is delusional about how he treated me. Only after we separated has he said nice things to me or about me. Forget him. Story 43. It depends on which one, I suppose. There is one for certain, and possibly two others who would have to come back from the grave to text me. Story 44. I miss you too. See you when I get home. I'm probably out of the house for a bit and still enjoy hanging out with my best friend. Story 45. I would say, thank you for ending the relationship and rejecting the proposal, because if you hadn't, I would have married you and harmed myself by now. Story 46. I would write back, this is new surname for marriage speaking. Who are you? I don't know the number. However, I would ask my husband if he minds. I don't feel the need to rub it in everyone's faces, but if I could, I would. Story 47. This actually happened to me as I was picking up my fiancée at the airport. While I was driving to the baggage claim, I received a call from an unknown number. It was my ex asking if I wanted to talk. I told her. I thought I said never to talk to me again, and hung up. Story 48. It has been more than 10 years since I have spoken to them, and I am married with 2 children, so my reply would probably be, what? Story 49. I feel that you tricked me into moving cities for you, and then you broke up with me right after I had moved. I'm making sure to block you this time. Story 50. I would not respond, but I would send the screenshot to their partner and let them handle the situation. If the ex escalates or tries again, the screenshot will be sent to his parents. Story 51. Mine has done it enough times. We have been divorced for 3 years, and I have remarried and moved on. The blocked number doesn't work. She calls from another. I have blocked several. The last thing I said to her was, well, you were too late for this. You weren't missing me the week you disappeared with your friend. And to be honest, the only thing I miss is the time I wasted when I was married to you. Don't call me anymore because I'm getting a warrant for harassment. And that was 2 weeks ago. Story 52. I miss you too. I hope things are going well with your new girlfriend. How is the house hunting? He lives in another county. We ended on good terms. He is a good person. I hope he finds as much happiness with her or someone else as I have with my husband. Story 53. I understand, but I live in a different state now. You were wonderful and I cried a lot when things didn't work out. Although I still think of you, I believe we need different things from life. I wish you all the happiness in the world, and I hope you find the joy you deserve. Story 54. I would tell her that she had 4 years to tell me she missed me when I was traveling for work, but she didn't. Story 55. I have an ex who is difficult to deal with and another ex who didn't understand people well. If the difficult ex messaged me, I would tell her to leave me alone. With the other ex, I would consider getting back together. Story 56. Realistically, I probably wouldn't bother answering. Theoretically, I would say that she can't miss me since we haven't spoken in 15 years, and that version of me is long gone. I am happily married now. Story 57. An ex of mine texted me during the pandemic. I left him on read. I didn't hate him, but I also didn't love him. I was just done with him. No response is a response. Story 58. It really depends on the situation. My responses could range from, I miss you too, let's catch up, to I have strong feelings about our past. It's hard to move on. Story 59. The outcome of a breakup depends on the circumstances. Not every breakup ends in toxicity, abuse, or infidelity, as some believe. Sometimes it is simply the wrong time for a relationship between two individuals. A disagreement can lead to an emotionally charged decision, which may be reconsidered later with a clearer perspective. Alternatively, a deal breaker might have caused a split, but one person may have changed and is now willing to try again, as they are aligned with the other. Story 60. Who is this? I don't have any of my ex's numbers still in my phone. Even if I did, I wouldn't respond. They are my exes for a reason. Story 61. I wouldn't take him back, but I hope he's all right. I would apologize for the things I did and sincerely hope he would be willing to apologize for his part as well. Story 62. I once missed you too. Unfortunately, you decided it was a good idea to jump into bed with the textbook player because you thought it was acceptable. The circumstances required for me to stop hating you, let alone forgive you, do not exist. You are the only person I trust and respect less than my father. Story 63. An ex-fling just messaged me today, and I asked, are you okay? Are you happy? Do you need something? Story 64. Absolutely not. If an ex texted me like that, I would go back to my home state and imagine lighting the person on fire. You understand the idea. Story 65. Now you miss me? It's funny how people realize the value of a diamond after losing it. Too bad I've been busy learning to love myself since you left. Story 66. Many people have unresolved issues with their exes. I miss some of them too, but I would never want to be romantically involved with any of them again. I usually start out as good friends with people before we end up dating. However, very rarely does that friendship survive after the relationship. Story 67. I would probably block the number thinking it was spam. I am reasonably certain I do not have any ex's numbers saved in my phone. Story 68. One of them texted me this morning at 5 a.m. because he noticed I blocked him on Instagram for stalking me. So I blocked him again. I have a few exes. All of them are blocked except for one I would take back. Story 69. I would talk to her because we have a child together, but she always finds a way to argue about something. Story 70. I thought you died 5 years ago. She did. I mourned her and I've moved on. But I wouldn't be surprised to find out she lied about dying to everyone. Story 71. You miss the Russian man you cheated on me with, who moved to Russia and is currently growing sunflowers in Ukraine. Story 72. I have had her blocked for years, but I would like to talk to her. I didn't like how our relationship ended, and enough time has passed where I would be open to discussing it. There are some things I am really hurt about and some things I want to apologize for. Story 73. I would be more than happy. They hurt me by cheating on me, which shows they had enough realization to come back and send a text about it. My ex is my only friend, and I'm emotionally starved. However, happiness feels like a trap, one I'm willing to fall for again. I would probably reply in a depressed state, do you truly? And when I am in a decent or happy state, I would ask, do you want to call and talk? Story 74. How did you get my new phone number? They are an ex for a valid reason. You can be polite, but don't try to reopen old wounds. Story 75. I recently found out my ex has throat cancer. If he called and said he missed me, I would probably tell him I miss him too. And it would be true. There are many things I miss about him. I wouldn't get back together with him, but I would chat with him and wish him well. Story 76. We knew each other for 10 years, dated for 3 of them, and remained friends for a couple of years after we broke up. All I received after 10 years of knowing her was one text saying we shouldn't talk anymore and that she was blocking me. I would tell her that she discarded me as if I were nothing, that she stated we couldn't be friends, and that she shouldn't come crawling back now. It's best if she stays gone. Story 77. Probably tell them, I don't know what's going on in your life right now, but being with me is not going to fix it. Then wish them well and set boundaries, considering that I am in a committed relationship. Story 78. I would pause and respond later after thinking about it for a while. We were genuinely in love for a couple of decades. Of course, we both miss each other occasionally. Are we good for each other? No. Story 79. I would block them. I know I would want to try again with her. Additionally, I would be very confused about how she was able to contact me. Story 80. There is a reason you left, and that was the right decision. Whatever the situation is, take some time to think about it and motivate yourself to overcome the mood you are in. I wish you the very best and apologize for my behavior. Story 81. Make sure it is not a desperate plea for help, which is pretty unlikely since I haven't spoken to any of them in about 15 years. Then forget about it. I would honestly be confused about what any of them would have to say to me, as I do not recall anything life-altering with any of them. I also highly doubt I am anyone's one who got away. Story 82. I would say, I mean no disrespect, but the feeling isn't mutual. She left me a little over a year ago, and I'm pretty sure she was unfaithful. I'm much happier after the divorce, and I have an amazing girlfriend now. If it weren't for our child that I had with my ex-wife, I would never have a reason to talk to her. But she is his mother, and I try my best to keep things cordial for him. He deserves that. Story 83. Tell my wife and watch her confront the ex with words before she blocked her. It's easy for me. Story 84. I would likely agree to meet with him later with my new husband. Not to show off or anything like that, but because I do not keep secrets in my household. However, I would probably at least try to uncover a motive first. Story 85. She is carrying someone else's child now, and even though it was unplanned and unwanted, even though her mother was just on the phone with me earlier, crying about how she wished it was me who was the father, there is a reason things played out the way they did. I would tell her the truth, though. I miss her too, and I love her with all my heart, but she lost the right to be with me long ago. Anything since then has been wishful thinking that we could turn this around. I loved her more than anyone else. I do miss many things about her and our time together, and I probably will for some time, but that door has closed for good, and for plenty of good reasons. Honestly, I would probably leave things in silence. She knows these things very well. Expressing the idea through words is truly unnecessary. Over the last few years, we said all that we needed to. Story 86. How did you get my number? I've changed my number twice, so that would be concerning. Story 87. I would ignore it and continue ignoring it unless the ex said something additional. He has manipulated me once too often. Story 88. There may be 1 or 2 people I wouldn't mind reconnecting with. That said, I might not reply. I can't say I've had any relationships end poorly, but for the most part, I would prefer to move on in most cases. Story 89. I gave you years of effort and love. I got lost in you and never felt this was a secure relationship. I laid out boundaries, communicated devotion, and was not respected even in the bare minimum. I found myself. I hope you finally find yourself. I forgave and forgot. But now, I am forgiving you and forgetting you. I wish for nothing but peace and to finally break this unhealthy cycle. Story 90. Do you miss me or my money? He had an awful habit of buying me fancy gifts, and when I offered to pay him back, he insisted that I should not and returned the money to me. Then, when we broke up, he sent me a bill for about $2,500. Story 91. Most of them are blocked, so I couldn't even read their messages. The only one that cannot be blocked is the father of my children. If he were to text me, he would not receive a reply, as I moved on a long time ago. My responses are softer than what I would truly want to say because I want him to be there for the children and for them alone. To put it bluntly, if there were no children involved, I would have gone no contact as soon as we broke up. Story 92. Since she told me to never contact her again, I would say, you are obviously intoxicated and you now hate me. Story 93. It depends on which one. For options 1 or 3, I would be nicer and just say, oh, out of pure confusion. For option 2, I would ask how drunk he was and which mutual friend reminded him that he fumbled with me. For option 4, I would probably say that I bet your fiancé, whom you kept secret from me, misses you too. Now go run back to her because you're clearly lost. And then I would block him. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.